Now that's significant. The Market Research Podcast.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on this latest episode of Now That's Significant, a market research podcast. This is your host, Michael Howard, the head of marketing at Infotools. Today, we're joined by Takeshi Tawarada and Kara Louis. It's of Snapchat. Tak is the research and insights lead for augmented reality and attention, and Kara is the group manager for the company's global agency research. Welcome to the show, Tak and Kara.
Hello, glad to be here.
Thank you. So really excited to have you both on the show. We thank you for joining us. I guess most people know Snap or Snapchat from the app, but it's really interesting to see that we've got two different perspectives coming on the show today, excuse the pun. Would you like to give us a little bit of background of this, the groundbreaking augmented reality that Snap has been working on for our listeners, and perhaps a brief introduction of AR and how you and your users use it?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, thanks for having us on the show, Michael. Well, we've done quite a bit of research around AR, how consumers think about it, as well as what brands need to know about leveraging it to communicate with their own customers. So we're really excited to share with you and your audience all that we've done so far. In terms of what AR is, quite simply, it's the digital layer that enhances the world around you through the power of camera vision. For us, when we train the Snapchat camera, it's able to understand what it's actually looking at so that our AR software technology can then overlay additional information, designs, or even completely reimagine a different output that can all be seen through the device enabling that technology. Now, there are a lot of different use cases for AR, and coincidentally, we're actually using it right at this very moment with our blurred backgrounds and maybe a little bit of touch-up. But a lot of different companies are testing the water in terms of how they can drive the most value for their communities using AR. And for us, AR was developed first and foremost as a way to augment our company's overall mission of empowering people to express themselves, live in the moment, learn about the world, and have fun together. So when you look at some of the most viral lenses that have been on our platform, things like bonding rainbows or putting on dog ears, it really opened up a new way for people to be able to communicate with each other in a really fun way.
Nice. So I was checking out your blog and could quickly see that your insights team is conducting a huge number of research projects. I want to talk about a couple of those projects specifically in a bit, but could you first give us a high-level overview of what types of insights you generally seek to uncover? Insights, I guess, that help your advertisers make decisions, what your team is tasked with at a general level, etc.
Yeah, so our team has pumped out quite a bit of research over the past few years. And while there are a number of research teams within our broader organization, our team, which is the research and insights team, specifically focuses on substantiating why marketers should advertise on Snapchat and how they can best reach their audience through our variety of ad offerings. And so our research also helps to understand our strengths and weaknesses so that we can better communicate this to our marketers who are leveraging our platform to help them better maximize their performance. And so in terms of the research topics that we typically focus on, we've stuck to doubling down on our strengths and ones that really support our value proposition. So for example, understanding that Gen Z audience and how marketers can best reach them, the power of augmented reality, and how brands can reach their audiences on Snapchat during key moments like the Olympics that are happening now, back to school, and holidays.
No, I appreciate that. One thing I guess that is a given with market researchers is you communicating the value and your findings to your stakeholders, to marketers, to other people in the business. But it can also be nice just to step back and then talk to other market researchers as well. So I appreciate you both coming on and doing that as part of this show as well.
Absolutely.
So one of your recent projects was on AR and sustainability. This is an interesting topic because not too many people draw the line between technology use and sustainability. I guess there are various things that you could talk about with this. It is an interesting topic. I guess with Snapchat's target audience of younger people, they're concerned with the environment. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose to explore it, and what were the primary objectives of the research?
Sure. So we already know from prior research that we've done at Snapchat that there's this unique synergy between augmented reality and sustainability. We actually conducted a research study in the last 2 years that really dug into AR and its role within that shopping journey. And through our research, we learned that AR could actually be a substitute for in-store shopping experiences because it provides customers with that boost of confidence through personalized experiences before they actually make that decision to invest in that purchase. And so, with environmental, social, and governance initiatives on the rise with brands, we set out to partner with a market research consultancy called Alter Agents to further understand how diverse sectors such as entertainment, QSR, apparel, auto, and personal care all have opportunities to enhance their sustainability efforts with AR. And so the overarching goal of our present research was to ultimately explore how AR can be used or serve as a catalyst for sustainability efforts that resonate with consumers, and at the same time understand how that drives tangible benefits for brands.
Mm. I imagine, I guess this is me just speaking, that there'd be potentially less returns if someone tries something on from an AR perspective. So there's that kind of sustainability improvement as well, particularly in the online space, that is.
Exactly.
So let's talk methodology for a moment. How did you find out the answers to your research questions?
For sure. So as Kara mentioned, we partnered with Alter Agents on the study, and we ended up conducting a multi-phase study to uncover those insights. Together, we explored a variety of examples on how AR can provide sustainability benefits compared to traditional marketing, like informative video ads on TV or social media. And so within this multi-phase study, we talked to experts within the space, including technologists, as well as sustainability experts, in addition to our own stakeholders, as a first part of the study. And then we followed that up with a more robust online quantitative survey with thousands of respondents across France, India, Saudi Arabia, UK, and the United States.
Mm. I'm sure it would have been nice to bring in different methodologies all into one finding and report to share with your stakeholders as well. I'm sure it was quite organic at the same time.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And there's so much that we could explore, so many different methodologies that we could utilize. So we ended up piecing a lot of different types of research together to create one holistic narrative by the end of this project.
Cool. What were some of the most surprising findings from the research?
For sure. So Kara mentioned earlier that we've done previous research, especially around shopper insights. So we've known previously that over 80% of consumers feel more confident in their purchase as a result of using AR, and 69% of them feel that AR is the future of shopping. So they're already drawn to the potential of AR to streamline their shopping experiences, as well as understanding how they can contribute to sustainability through those types of features. As you mentioned, things like those reduced return rates. We also knew from desk research that 93% of consumers have either maintained or increased their purchases of sustainable products over the past year. So there is an overall increase in public demand for brands to focus on these sustainability efforts. So we knew that in general, we'd see pretty positive results from this study. But what surprised me the most was that over 2/3 of people would actually pay more when AR is incorporated into a brand's operations, and that they pay up to 7% increases in those cases. So there's a lot of concerns around rising inflation, and there's this broad consumer knowledge of shrinkflation. And so I would have expected a huge allergic reaction to any thought of increased pricing.
So the increased pricing, was that across the different pricing bands, or like did you see it? Was it representative, I guess, of the different good, better, best out there?
Yeah, so I mentioned up to 7% because we saw variations across all different categories that mentioned, QSR is a little bit different from auto, but across all of those different categories, we saw increases.
Yeah, and for me, it was just so interesting to uncover the power of those AR experiences that positively impact sustainability for brands. So again, through this research, we found that consumers reported that AR experiences that positively impact sustainability actually lead folks to be 84% more likely to make a purchase and 71% less likely to ask for a refund, which was truly astounding in my opinion. And again, when we looked at the findings across categories, we saw that the same finding rang true. And so AR experiences like virtual try-ons before making a purchase do attract consumers across categories like personal care, clothing, and in categories like QSR, auto and entertainment, waste reduction and transparency were some of the top drivers for driving people's intent to purchase for those categories when brands use sustainability AR efforts.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting just to follow this along as well. Like it's such a cool use case of technology. So it's exciting times we're living in.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a bit more about carbon emissions, because I guess that's a big part of sustainability as well.
Yeah, so we did look at carbon emissions through our research as well, and we found that consumers would use AR 68% of the time to reduce emissions through tactics like virtual try-ons, digital menus, product customization, and even virtual event attendance. And then in a separate study, we did partner with a firm called Circular Ecology, and they specialize in carbon footprint and life cycle assessment. That powering online shopping through AR can power up to a 46% reduction in carbon emissions versus without it. And so that's a significant reduction in carbon emissions, which was really tremendous.
Absolutely. Can you give us an example of how of shopping using AR, sorry, and how that contributes to sustainability?
Yeah, absolutely. So in our study, we broadly looked at two general ways that AR can help with sustainability. AR can provide sustainability benefits either in an explicit or implicit way. So what I mean by that is that brands can use AR in an explicit way to directly communicate with their customers about their involvement in sustainability efforts, or implicitly by providing second and third order benefits that extend beyond the primary use case for that AR execution. So an example of an explicit use case might be that a brand's trying to educate their consumers about the sustainable sourcing of materials for a product that they are selling, something like a pair of shoes, and how those pair of shoes might be made from recyclable materials. The AR experience, which we partnered with a brand on, actually virtually placed a big kind of dumpster truck filled with plastic bottles in the camera viewport of that user, which the user can kind of walk around and see how big this massive dumpster truck is and how much plastic is being filled up within it. And at various points on that dumpster truck will be different points of information with things like how every minute the equivalent of a dumpster truck of plastic is being thrown into the ocean. This experience then allowed the user to browse through a selection of shoes that were made from recyclable plastic within a virtual showroom that is located within that dumpster truck. Hopefully that paints a decent image, but happy to kind of share that experience out at a separate time as well. But in terms of an implicit use case, there's something that's going to be something that provides consumer value right from the get-go. So you can think of something like a makeup try-on experience. The first order impact is that consumers are able to try on that makeup, see how it looks on them without actually having to use the physical product, which is useful in online context. But it can also be helpful in store as well, especially when you don't want to use something that other people have used. And then there's also the second order impact for brands in terms of reducing that product waste of in-store try-on, as well as reducing those return rates. And then the third order impact here is that because there's less product waste, there's also less material waste, as well as the lessened need for transportation of returned products. And that is leading to an impact on carbon emissions.
I mean, I imagine as well, like it could be makeup, it could be a dress. You're trying, you've got your AR on. Why not right at that point just send off a snap to your best friends and just saying, "Hey, look, what do you think? This or this? I'm leaning towards this. Which one should I get?" So you're getting that social interaction in that as well, which can definitely help.
Yeah, absolutely. We see our community do that all the time, whether they're shopping inside of malls or whatever, wherever they might be, and they're sending off a quick snap to get feedback from their friends and family.
Mm. So you also recently completed a study on AR and attention. This is interesting. As we all know, our attention spans are dropping. Not quite to goldfish level yet, but we are quickly doing so many things at the same time. Advertisers are having trouble engaging and capturing attention. Can you tell us about this research and how it's trying to, I guess, address that issue?
Sure, yeah. We've been studying this interplay for many years. So the first phase of our research revealed the inner workings of Snap's video inventory. And in the study, we uncovered that consumers paid 2 times more active attention to video ads on Snapchat compared to similar inventory on other competitor platforms. And in the second phase of our research, we aim to understand how new ad formats like AR capture attention. And so to do this, we worked with a research partner called Amplified Intelligence, and they worked with us to create this purpose-built camera environment using Snapchat's Camera Kit SDK, which replicated a live organic camera experience and provided a realistic testing environment for research and measurement. And so once that environment was created, we were able to recruit 2,100 respondents who navigated this camera environment, and they were exposed to the different test brands among other organic lens. And so we were able to generate over 32,000 individual ad views. And the AR experiences that we tested here represented 27 brands with Omnicom Media Group and a variety of industries such as CPG, QSR, beauty, retail, apparel, telco, travel, and auto. And we did this research globally across markets, including the US, UK, France, Saudi Arabia, Canada, and Australia. So the research was super robust and it studied multiple verticals and markets with a great sample.
Were there any findings in that which that did surprise you that were like, that was the other way than I thought it was going to be?
I think a lot of it was in line with our expectation. We know that Snapchatters and consumers in general engage in a very intent and active way when it comes to AR. But what's exciting about this research is that in addition to AR, we were able to combine findings from previous research around our video formats. And what we found was that AR enhances the attention that consumers pay on all of our formats. With AR in the mix, Snapchat was able to drive 5x more active attention compared to our industry peers. The more interesting finding for us was that all different types of lenses drove high active attention. So in terms of types of lenses, we tested things like face lenses versus world lenses, or even shoppable lenses, or even lenses that turn you into a completely different character. And we saw that all of them, in addition to driving high active attention, was that they were able to provide lifts in terms of both short-term brand choice as well as long-term brand loyalty. But ultimately, what stood out the most in terms of that finding was that shareable AR experiences versus ones that are more insular actually supercharge that impact.
That's right. So, I mean, brands that are advertising, it's a pretty good return on investment for the activity when they go through something like AR, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only are they able to reach the target audience that they're speaking to, but that target audience is then inclined to share out those fun experiences with their friends and family. And it really starts this chain reaction of conversations.
And I guess one good thing about the adoption curve is that snap lenses have been around for several years now, haven't they? In various forms, and so you're starting to get into the majority of owning those as well. So it's not just the early adopters that are making use of it. So the audience, I guess, for AR is a lot wider now than it's ever been.
Yeah, absolutely. Our audience started out, quote unquote, as the younger audience, the Gen Z of the world, but our whole entire platform is aging up, and we're seeing all different types of people use AR.
Yeah, cool. So thanks for sharing behind the scenes at some of that research into augmented reality. One last question I did have is, what do you think is coming next? How do you see the future of AR evolving, and what further research do you think is needed to explore its full potential?
Yeah, for sure. And this is the more exciting question for me because there's a lot of different types of things happening around the world right now. New next-gen technologies like generative AI as well as machine learning, I think will be converging in the near future alongside AR. We've already seen examples of this in our own AR offerings, from the Gen AI tools that we recently released on Lens Studio, which provides AR developers a new way to speed up AR production, as well as AR experiences that utilize our ML algorithms in order to help you know what you looked like when you were a baby, or maybe what you might look like when you're older. What's going to be even more exciting is when brands start to realize the power of all these tools to help disrupt the way that traditional advertising has been done. How will consumers really react when their favorite sunglass brand creates an AR experience that automatically generates the perfect sunglass pairing for their current outfit? Or maybe a furniture company. Yes, you can place furniture in your own room, but what if it can help you reimagine your current living space into one with a stylish Japandi or whatever interior design? And even without the help of brands to create these experiences, I believe that consumers are going to find a way to get the value that they need out of the technology. And I'm very curious to see how that's all going to unfold.
And from my perspective, I'm super excited about the immersive experiences AR will offer in the near future. As a mom, I think about how different school will look like for my son than it did for me. I'm imagining a teacher pulling out a world map and the Eiffel Tower suddenly appears over France, and my son can watch it being built in real time and see that Paris skyline at night. I think progress will only continue to accelerate here in the coming months. And Talk made some really great points about how brands will look to harness these tools. From a research perspective, I think we'll need to understand how users are interacting with an entirely new form factor. Instead of just measuring attention paid to a branded AR lens, we'll need to understand how people interact with AR elements themselves in the real world. It's a really exciting future.
Mm, no, it is, and I guess one thing, and it's not strictly AR, but I guess AR is going to really help improve what VR does as well, because obviously AR can be put into a virtual reality world as well. I don't know if you've seen the movie Ready Player One. And
I
so
love,
that
love that.
so that it's basically it's set in the metaverse, if you will, of what it should be, I guess anyway. So this video game lover created this whole virtual reality world where the whole world just logs into, and they create their own avatars, and you've got all of these pop-ups and interactions within the virtual world there. And so I guess the work that you're doing in AR now is going to help inevitably feed that there. But then you've also got the real world interactions of the augmented as well. So some really interesting technology being developed.
No, absolutely. And I think to your point about AR working in the real world, whereas VR transports you into like a virtual world, it's going to
Mm.
be interesting to see that bifurcation. We really do believe that human connection is going to be the most important thing when it comes to making sure that we all have a great future together. And so we hope that augmented reality will hopefully keep you grounded in reality, and technology is going to be a way to enhance your everyday lives.
No, absolutely. Hey, Kara, do you have anything on that as well?
No, I think Talk covered it all.
Yeah. Yes. So, and I mean, you brought up as well the Eiffel Tower, and just
Mm,
imagine being there right next to the cyclists or the marathon runners coming through with the Olympics,
yeah,
and
exactly.
you can see their run times, their heart rates, their cadence, like all of that kind of thing would be really, really interesting to yeah, just to have as an experience with products like Snap.
100%.
Mhm. So thank you both for joining us on the show today. I really appreciate the insights and the time that you've been able to spend with us today.
Yeah,
Thank you for
absolutely.
having
Thanks
us.
for having us. This was super exciting.
You're welcome. And to the listeners out there as well, thank you so much for joining us as well. If you have liked what you've heard, feel free to check out some of the things that Snap have been up to on their website, on the blog. There's plenty of really interesting findings there. And you may also be inspired, I guess, to try this with your brand as well. So do check them out. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast. Leave a review as well. Would be very grateful for that. For the time being, thanks for listening to Now That's Significant.